I'm Patty Ann Brown, and you are in the strategy room. Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders is gaining ground in New Hampshire. A new poll from WMUR shows the Vermont senator edging within 6 percentage points of frontrunner Hillary Clinton. In fact, one pollster calls it a statistical tie. Could Sanders win the Granite State? Here with reaction, Democratic strategist Joe Lestingi and Republican strategist Ron Bonjean. Thank you both for joining us.
Thanks very much.
All right, let's take a look at that poll. You can see Hillary Clinton is still in the lead at 42%. Bernie Sanders only slightly behind at 36%. And there's a margin of error of 5.9%, which is why pollsters say it's actually a statistical tie. Joe, what do you make of this?
Well, there's a couple questions that I have coming out of this. Why is the margin of error so large? It sounds like they had a small sample size. So yes, in this poll, statistically, they are tied, but it doesn't mean anything. We are just at the edge of that. So let's put the poll aside for a second, talk about the real race, because that's reality and that's what's happening. Bernie Sanders should have gains here. I mean, his state, Vermont, is right there. They share some media markets. They're going to know Bernie Sanders in New Hampshire, and Democrats are going to like him. He does appeal to a left part of the party. It's just sort of like how Donald Trump came out of nowhere and appealed to this large section on the right. Bernie Sanders is going to appeal to some people on the left, and it's not going to be a small chunk, but he's not going to win. He's not going to win New Hampshire. The only real threat to Hillary Clinton isn't even in the race yet, and I believe that's the vice president.
Okay, yeah, let's get to that, Ron. Joe Biden does poll in third place in this poll. It's a distant third, but of course he hasn't even entered the race. What about Biden?
Well, first of all, I think this poll shows that Hillary Clinton is not gaining ground, and that is a problem because you're talking about she has a problem with authenticity. And Bernie Sanders is a very likable guy. He's calling it like he sees it. Liberal voters love it, and they're starting to gravitate towards him. Biden is smart and waiting and watching and seeing how this unfolds. If I were Joe Biden, I don't think I'd force myself to make a decision. Obviously, he needs to raise money and have an organization. Those are going to be huge obstacles for him going forward. But look, watching this unfold between Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders could be pretty fascinating. I do think she has a problem here. It is a battleground state. She'll need this to win the president. She'll need this to win the nomination. And that's, having Bernie Sanders in the way isn't helpful, and I think it's something that they're definitely worried about.
Joe, whether or not the Clinton campaign is actually worried about Sanders being the eventual nominee, I mean, the poll is still telling in that it finds that Sanders has a higher favorability rating at 59%, Mrs. Clinton's is 54%. What does it say about her popularity and credibility? A lot of these analysts looking at the polls say, oh, it's all about the email scandal. It's hurting her.
Well, so this is what I do for a living. We look at these numbers all the time, and what these numbers say to me, in my professional opinion, is this. Despite Bernie's popularity, he's still behind in the polls. And what that shows is that most people don't think he is a credible candidate. They like him, and they want to support him, but they don't think he can do the big job in the end, or they don't think he can win in November. So that's why Hillary maintains this lead. She does have a likability issue, but if you remember, back in 2008, coming out of Iowa, going into New Hampshire, she was down. She was down to Barack, and then lo and behold, on election night, she stormed away with a victory, and there was a big moment there where she broke down and let people inside to see her heart a little bit, and that was a big difference maker in that campaign. Things can change, even though she may not be over 50% now, but the Clinton camp, they're smart. They know what they're doing. They know where their problems are, and they're probably addressing them right now and fixing them as we move forward.
All right. Well, we're unfortunately going to have to leave it there. I know Ron would like the last word, but we're being told to wrap it up. Joe Lestingi, Ron Bonjean, thank you both for joining us. And you can check out more on foxnews.com. We have a lot on the 2016 presidential race and more. I'm Patty Ann Brown. Thanks for watching.